Hello YouTube, Dave here again, back with another pickups video. So I did have some other things that I wanted to do this past week, and I do actually mention it in a video that's going to be coming out in a couple of days based on when I recorded it. But essentially, because this will be the first one that you actually see, I thought it would sort of explain kind of what happened or what caused the issues with getting some of the other videos out. The first and foremost thing is that here in Nova Scotia the weather has been fluctuating pretty wildly. We've had temperature swings from like 20 plus degrees from one day to the next, and it's just been wreaking havoc. Like whenever we get like changes in the air pressure, it really affects my knees, in particular my right knee. And it's just been up and down all week actually, so it's been sort of difficult that way. It's also been affecting my sinuses as well. I've had basically a non-stop sinus headache for a little over a week now, and it's really frustrating. But anyway, it just made it difficult to have the drive or the motivation, I guess, whatever you want to call it, to sit down and do a video and actually enjoy recording it. I'm not doing too bad today, so just I recorded a couple things. They're not the videos that I had mentioned in a posting on my channel page, but I will get to those for the next week. But I thought just do a couple things that would be sort of easier, fun for me, and get into the other stuff a little bit down the road. So again, just I thought a pickup videos would be in order. Like I said, not a ton of stuff, but a few things here. And I thought I would get the video game stuff out of the way first. So about a week ago, at the time that I'm recording this, we decided to pick up a couple things for our Nintendo Switch. And I mean, I absolutely love the Switch. I think it's a fantastic system. Just a lot of fun, games that are on there. The ones that we have so far, and I think it's a really interesting concept overall. I think it's I've always been a big Nintendo fan, and that's really not going to change. And with the modern games, it's honestly the only system I'm really excited over. So, without further ado, the first thing I picked up is a wireless Pro Controller. So it's actually in the living room charging as we speak, but got quite a bit of use out of it over this past week, and it wasn't fully like, the battery hadn't completely run out, but I thought I would just put it back on the charger because I want to get a bunch of use out of it over the course of the weekend. But a really, really awesome controller, and has like the motion stuff in it, and the NFC for the amiibos. It's a really cool controller, and it says you can get about 40 hours of battery life out of it, and I believe it. I remember the Pro Controller for the Wii U. We've only probably charged it 5 times in the 3-4 years that we've had our Wii U. So really, really cool controller. It's just the basic gray one. Nothing too fancy there, but really awesome controller. And I don't know, I just like the Nintendo packaging, so I always hold on to this stuff here. But the reason that I got the Pro Controller is because I wanted to have a multiplayer game for everyone in our family to be able to play, and that game ended up being Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. In fact, it is actually currently in the system as we speak, and I have Smash Brothers for the Wii U, and at first I wasn't really interested in picking this up because I honestly didn't think it was going to be that much different or that much better, but there's just a lot of really cool things in this game. And the first thing that I noticed immediately was that when you first load it up, the only characters that you have to choose from are the 8 characters from the original Smash Brothers from the Nintendo 64. And I was a bit deterred at first, actually, when I first saw that. But I will say, since then, like, you can unlock characters pretty quickly. So I've had the game for about a week. Played it fair amount, but not, you know, ridiculously long. And there was like, it says 70 plus fighters, and I already have like 63, 63 or 64 characters in total now. So there's only a handful left for me to unlock, and we've been having a ton of fun with it. So really awesome game. It's got a cool new story mode, which it is fun, but there are a couple of frustrating rule scenarios. I kind of got stuck on one where there's this like shifting winds that keep blowing in different directions, and I don't, you know, it's obviously, I mean, I don't want to say it's the AI cheating, but I always seem to be popped up in the air the second that the wind changes, and it's always blowing in the direction that I'm being knocked into instead of like against it. But that said, it is a lot of fun, and really awesome game. So we've been getting some pretty decent use out of that, and yeah. So those were the only things that we ended up getting for the Switch, and the rest of the stuff that I have here is all Starfinder related. So I've been really, you know, I've been a fan of the Starfinder role playing game since I first picked it up, and that, you know, I don't think that's ever going to change. I think it's a really fun system, really great system, and yeah, I just want to collect as much stuff for it as I can. So, if you saw my Christmas pickups video, I had mentioned that I got some adventures from some of the adventure paths, including the very first adventure path, the Dead Sons adventure path, where I had picked up the part 3 of that 6-part story arc. So, since then, I've actually completed that entire series. So, like part 1 was Incident Absalon Station, part 2 is Temple of the 12, and the name of the third one escapes me at this point in time, and I don't think it's actually in here, unfortunately. But regardless, I now have the full series. So this is part 4, The Ruined Clouds, and you know, the cover art on these are all great. And what I like about all these adventure paths is, you know, each one has like a unique starship in each, like in the front and back covers. The front covers like the stats for ship battles, and the inside is like the map of the ship if you end up boarding it, or the adventure generally has them like sort of entering the some of these ships that they have, so that it's not necessarily wasted space. The adventure itself is always great, but then they have information on like a new planet or a new area for the players to explore that may be connected to, or is usually connected to the adventure itself, just gives you a little bit more information. And then there's some stuff to help you sort of build up your game. So this talks a lot about drift travel. And, you know, so obviously it has more information in here, I believe, than the core rulebook. So really nice to have that as well. It has new creatures, like the Alien Archive, and at the very back there's like a, not the advertisement, but it has like a Codex of Worlds. So it's a world that may be thematically similar to what you have in the adventure, but it's usually its own separate thing, just to have something unique that you can use to flesh out your world if you want to run your homebrewed stuff. So all of these adventure path books have that sort of formula in it, and I think it's an absolutely fantastic one. And it's just nice to see, you know, sort of like just more than just the adventure itself, but to have a bunch of like world building stuff, you know, new rules or equipment, or just new stuff for your players to be able to use, take advantage of, and just having like a whole new you know, world, even if it's described briefly, just to even spark the imagination. So this is part 4. Then we have the 13th Gate, which is part 5. And again, just some really nice artwork in here. And I will be doing actually a video series on each of the adventure paths at some point in the very near future. So I'll be able to like sort of talk about these. You know, they'll probably have some spoilers in them. Obviously, it's hard to discuss an entire story arc without getting into some of the things that happen beyond like the opening encounter sort of thing. But I'm really looking forward to being able to do that now. And then I have part 6 here, which is the Empire of Bones. And the Empire Bones has like basically rules for supersized starships. So here we have the Blackwind Annihilator, which is actually like a super colossal Ultranaut. Level like tier 20, which is basically tier for ships and equipment stuff, is the same thing as sort of like levels. So this is a massive ship, and on the back, instead of having just like the floor plans for you to go around and adventure in, it still has that, but it has it by the different decks. Because like I said, these things are huge, and for scale, you know, there's that much distance. So like what, 2 inches is 2 miles, so about a mile an inch, give or take, and just massive, massive. So really looking forward to seeing what that has in store for the adventure. Something like that, ridiculously massive. I think the characters actually have to infiltrate it and try to basically hijack it, if I recall correctly. So anyway, just really cool stuff there, so happy to have that. It definitely sort of filled a void, because I don't want to. I know people throw the term OCD out a little bit too much, but all of these are individually numbered. So you have like 4, 5, 6. However, they also have what parts they are of the stories. So, for example, the Against the Aeon Throne, which is the first part, the Against the Aeon Throne is the storyline. But the first chapter in that story is book 1 of 3, but up here it's listed as book 07. So for the longest time, I had Adventure Path book 02, and then I didn't have anything until 07. So now I have all of them 7, like from 1 all the way up through, see, it was 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the 12th book, the third part of the Signal of Screams Adventure Path, I will hopefully be getting at some point very, very shortly. And I believe that's being sent to me again by Paizo. I had an opportunity to pick it up, but I was in contact with their public relations person, and so I should be getting that hopefully not too long. But I will be focusing on the other 2 adventure paths first anyway, so if it takes another couple of weeks, it'll give me an opportunity to read through all these and take some notes. So anyway, last thing here today is another Starfinder flip mat, and that is the Starfinder flip mat for the Jungle World. So again, this looks really, really cool. I'll just tilt the camera up a little bit here. So that is what's going to be on the front of the map, and then we have what's going to be on the back of the map, and I will be doing separate videos showing them in more detail. I still have to do actually the opening for the asteroid flip mat that I got right around Christmas time. So anyway, so those are just again the things that I picked up in the last little bit. And yeah, so anyway, hopefully, like I said, starting next week or so, it'll be nice to get back into a more regular rhythm. So I have one video already set to go, and that's going to be uploading, I think the days that I want to do uploads. At first I was thinking Tuesday, Thursday, and then maybe like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday if I do 3 videos. But truthfully, just the one day in between isn't necessarily enough. I feel like right now with just how much it burned me out before trying to do a video a day. So I think what I'll probably be doing instead will be like a video on Monday and then a video on Thursday or Friday. And if I have a third one, it would either be uploaded on Wednesday or Saturday. So I'll figure that out, but hopefully I'll be able to get back to that schedule next week. So anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time. Take care.